Hey, it's Kelly here at Don't Run with Scissors, your favorite Jeep driving lawyer, mom of twins, and 3 crazy rescue dogs who likes to craft, is training for Ironman, and has gone back to school to be an ASL interpreter. Welcome. Welcome back. How are you guys doing? It has been a week. It has been, it's been a week. It's been good. I actually had this last weekend, because I had worked ahead in several of my classes, and the one class is just starting. We don't have all the stuff, and then we just had the midterm and the other. I had sort of a low volume homework week, and to be honest, y'all, I needed it. I needed a week like that to just where I could decompress a little this weekend. So I did just that. I decompressed, and I did not realize my Friday was back to back to back meetings and picking up kids and driving kids to test. Um, and so um, Friday I met with my new nutritionist, got some things to work on for the next 2 weeks. Um, I think it's really going to work. It's a shift in how I'm how I'm fueling my body properly, and understanding that as somebody with eating disorders, as somebody with a lot of abuse and trauma, um, a lot of my habits and patterns were formed from those thoughts, and that I need to look at my body like I'm worthy of eating properly. My body deserves that. I deserve that. That's just, um, and I deserve to feel good and to eat those things that make my body feel good. Over you guys have been with me long enough to know that like doesn't make me feel good. Um, she did say we're going to tackle my caffeine addiction, because caffeine wreaks havoc on, um, you know, a little caffeine is not going to dehydrate you. It drives me nuts when people spread that myth. But the volume of caffeine that I drink to keep going at the rate that I go, with as little sleep as I get, does. And I already battle that a lot with my neural conditions. Um, one of the side effects is I don't sweat, and the other one is that I'm always borderline dehydrated. I'm also one of those weird bodies that metabolism wise, we know based on blood work, I'm always low on vitamin D, not uncommon for people here in the north. Um, with winters and gray skies and stuff. Um, but I also run low on sodium. So I'm one of those weird people that it's not a big deal if I add salt to my food, which is funny because I don't. So we're going to work on all of that. She's going to have some new labs drawn. Um, my doctor has put in for a CGM, which is a constant glucose monitor, um, to provide even more feedback about how my body is handling not only what I'm eating and how that affects my blood sugars, but also how my body is handling, nutrition wise and sugar wise, glucose wise, when I'm training. So it's going to give us tons more information. One of the things she would like, as well as my cardiologist would like, is for me to update my Garmin. Um, so I have an older Garmin. It was still really expensive. Garmin's are freakishly expensive. Um, but to order one that will do the constant heart rate monitor without the strap. Um, and again, that's going to provide us even more feedback. I have to put on there's a special foot pedal, for my bike that I have. I just need to hook it up, and then I have the foot pod too that I can attach to my shoe when I go running. That will again more information, and that's, um, my nutritionist is having me keep track um, of several different things, including what I like, just generally what I eat and when. And we figured out that maybe in a notebook, like a planner, would work best because we're trying to do it in a way where we get the information, but we don't trigger the eating disorder in me. And so that's been a little bit of a battle. And ironically, I ate kind of how she wanted me to do on Saturday. I woke up Sunday. The weather shifted, so I had a migraine from that. But we had already like a lot of the bloating gone. Like it was crazy, crazy, crazy. I went to eat with a friend, had gluten, had some other things that I know bother my stomach, but it is what it is. Um, and immediately that day was just a shit show as far as how I was feeling overall. So it is really crazy when you start paying attention to how you feel based on what you eat. Um, so we're going to work on that. It's a journey. It's a journey. You're constantly learning, and you're constantly, the more you learn, the more you can change accordingly. And that's sort of one of my underlying things. So, um, yeah. So a couple things. Oh, sign of the week. We started ASL 4. So ASL 4. Um, on ASL 3, he finally graded everything. He had graded most things. I had a solid A. He graded everything, and now I'm an A minus by 1 point. It's a little frustrating. It it's not like I'm gonna go talk to my college professor and go, "Hey, can you raise my grade?" It is what it is. It's an A minus. It's still a great grade. It's just, when I want to wear honors cords, every grade counts, and it's just kind of freaking me out. Um, he hasn't graded my other teacher in web design. The multiple choice was on computer, or that test was on computer, so it automatically graded. Did not do well. I mean, I passed. I think I got a B minus. Thankfully, he drops the lowest grade, and there's some more extra credit. So he has not graded the production part of it. Um, the production part, like I told you guys, I was the last one. I think I told you guys, I was the last one out of the class. My pages and all the links worked and looked exactly like the example. I can't tell you that the back end coding was exactly right, but it did what it was supposed to do. So there's that. Um, yeah. So, um, worked ahead in biology. So I'm actually, this week should have been the quizzes that I already took, and I've already started on the next module. Um, Hopefully I can get another chunk out this week and be a little bit ahead. I'd like to finish that one sooner than later so that I can focus more on ASL4 and web design. Okay, so the other thing I did, I pulled out my Cricut, and I have been learning a ton. There's a learning curve on that machine. Oh, this is the other thing. So my Cricut dropped and I caught it, but this fell out of it. Does anybody know where this is supposed to go back? I don't know. It still works. It's not broke. Like, it works. It works fine. So maybe it wasn't supposed to be in there to begin with. I don't know. But if you know where that goes on a Cricut Maker, could you let me know? So oh, by the way, happy Pie Day. Pie Day. So there's your sign. Wait, pie. Pie. So you could have apple pie. I like pizza Actually, you do two Z's. Pizza. Bye. Um, this is my breakfast. There's protein powder in my coffee. I use collagen peptides, which gives me like 20 grams of protein, which is a nice chunk of protein. But they have no taste, so you can mix it into your hot tea or coffee, get your protein in, and not have to worry about cooking anything. So when I'm like kind of feeling like I'm behind and need to catch up things, I will do that. Or I will add it, instead of the meal. Another helpful hint. It's not my, it's not ideal. Obviously, I would eat like some fruits and vegetables and meats, but it's a nice go-to fallback rather than grabbing a donut or a bagel. I love me a bagel, but the gluten doesn't love me. So anyways, back to the cricket. So my friend had seen cards on Etsy, and he fell in love with them for Hillbilly Candle Company, and I was like, you can make those, because he got a cricket as well. He has the Explorer. Now he's ready to chuck his Explorer out a window. He's so frustrated with it, and I don't blame him. I spent, y'all, I'm not gonna lie, I spent about 3 days solid, and I spent hours online with Cricut even, getting these to work. But I wrapped them because they're gonna go in the mail today. Are they not the cutest? I made him a bunch of business cards, and then because I am the craft collector, I am a craft curator. I have a collection. It's bloody fantastic. So a while back, hold please, I forgot to put in my bionic ears. That's the hardest part about these, is remembering to just put them in, but they really do make a difference. It's crazy. When we went out to breakfast yesterday morning, I had them in, and I did not realize how loud some restaurants are, because I didn't hear half of that stuff, or it was like muffled. And then yesterday I actually had to turn my bionic ears down. It was crazy. So a while back, Julie, who was on Stitch Life Happy Hour with us, she had used this product, or one similar, and I ordered some, and I haven't used it, and I had it, but I wanted to use it, and I hadn't, because I'm a butthead, and I buy things, and then I don't use them, and we all do that. That's why I have such a extensive pattern collection. But it's printable Shrinky Dink paper, and you get it off the Zon, and I don't remember how much it was, but I made it. So I used my Cricut again. I printed it. You can print it on your printer, so you print it and you let it dry, and then you stick it to your mat and you stick it. Now the one thing I will tell you is I have not figured out what depth or pressure on my Cricut. I didn't get it quite right. It was close, so I did have to go in with my scissors and kind of touch it up. But y'all, I made him keychains. How cute are they? They're nice and thick. Now I could have cooked this one a little bit longer so it would have laid flatter, but it was a prototype, so I'm going to send him a couple of those, and then I will likely make him a bunch more that he can give away as like little promo things. How cute are they though? How cute are they? And then a friend has asked me how much I would charge to make her a bunch for her business. So who knows? Apparently I'm starting another side hustle because I don't have enough on my plate. My therapist keeps challenging me, and she's like, it's going to be the ongoing theme. We're going to challenge you to lighten your load. Yeah. We'll see how that goes. Honestly, it was easier for me to just do them than to keep trying. He was so frustrated, and I get his frustration because I was, for 3 days, I was so frustrated. And then trying to send him the file and get it so that he could use it was easier on me to just go ahead and do them and ship them out today. Speaking of shipping out, I got Happy Mail. I don't know, like I mention them all the time. Like I've just started using floss tags and I absolutely love them, but I was out of them. And Janet had sent me floss tags before and I mentioned that I love them and I was out of them. And Janet sent me so many floss tags. And there's a couple, like there's two different shapes. I have to say I like these. They're a little more bougie. So I feel like fancy. But then she sent me these and she sent me two different sizes. Hello. These are fantastic, Janet. Thank you so very, very, very much. You don't know how much I appreciate you. I wish I could tell you how much I appreciate you. It just made my heart so happy to open that mail. The other thing that I did, I know you guys are gonna be blown away when I show you what I did. Finally, so I went on the Zon, and you guys know I love me some Amazon. I have probably built a wing onto Jeff Bezos' house with how much I spent on Amazon, and I've been trying more and more to get away from Amazon and to use individual little mom and pop businesses. But sometimes it's just really, 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 really hard. And so I'm sorry. But I bought an Amazon Fire, or an Amazon, yeah, it's an Amazon Fire tablet. It's a little 7-inch. It has 16, I went with the 16 gigabytes. I don't know quite what that means. I know that means that it's my memory. And it's not ungodly huge. But the only thing that, like, it's a regular tablet. Amazon. It says Amazon on it because, you know, I don't know how to make the screensaver go away, or their like little launch menu. But it's a regular, like I could run my Audible on here. I can run I can run Netflix, all of that on here. So it's a regular tablet, understand that. But there's a hack that you can do, that you can then load up your Google Drive, and you can load up, wait for it. Pattern Keeper. So right now on Pattern Keeper, I just have two patterns. One of them is my Whip Go Goal. Oh, it makes the picture go away when you do that. I'm still learning, but you guys, if you have not done this and you have, it literally cost me $50, just under $50. And I had it, I think the same day I ordered it. It was crazy. Now it took me a while because I'm technologically challenged. It did take me a while to figure out the hack that you have to do, and you have to download it and open it and install it in a certain order, and there's 4 files, and there's a great video, and if you need the video, just let me know and I will track down the link again, and I will send it to you. So I have my Magic Study that I am stitching, along with Amy from Creativity with Gidge is stitching it. I believe Candace K is stitching it. Janet Jabber is stitching it. I'm not sure who else is stitching it. It was limited edition. Is now gone, but there is a rainbow version of it that's really, really pretty and is virtual. It's the same. It's just a little bit more. If you look, the colors on there, they're a little bit more rainbowy. But the one that I did load up is from Unconventional Cross Stitch. It's my Whip Go for March goal. It made it go so much faster, but the downside is on the side. I'll show you. You guys probably already know this. And if you already know this, I'm really sorry that I'm telling you information you already know. But I did, like, okay, so, oh, now it's gonna, okay. So on the side here, on the very side, excuse the patterns, okay. On the side, it will tell you, you've stitched so many stitches today, you've stitched so many stitches total, and that, like, out of how many stitches the pattern has, but then it will tell you the percentage that you're at. So I have now worked on, where's my Whip Go goal page? My bingo page. Ugh. Welcome to my life. If I was ever organized, you would know that the body snatchers like came in and got me, and that you should call the FBI for help because I've been kidnapped. That's how you'll know. Yeah, I still haven't painted the wall, but there's my ice cream ball. And if anybody needs an ice cream ball, let me know because I'll send it to you. Because I think I have two, because that makes sense. And my kids won't. I have an ice cream maker now. But that's really fun. Like if you're going camping or something, or you have little kids that have to stay busy, it's actually really fun and it's really easy to use. Okay, so I don't know where my whip goal sheet is right now. We'll find it in a minute. We found it. Okay, so I worked 4 days now on Baphomet, Baphomet, Baphamet. I don't, it is a huge project. Amy will love this one when I show you because Amy and I have a love of big fabric. And for those of you, so I stitch in hand. I've always stitched in hand. I've tried hoops. I've tried a Q-snap. It's just not my jam. I don't find it relaxing, and I stitch for relaxing. More power to those of you who can do frames and all of that. But I stitch in hand. So when I stitch, I use the sewing method. To me, that goes faster, and it's the style I prefer. And so I just set all the extra fabric, like I scrunch it up in my hand, and it lays in my lap, and it's not a big deal. Okay, so I work 3 days, and or 4 days. On the fourth day, I had started getting a little nervous that maybe I cut my fabric too narrow, or maybe I didn't start that far from the edge, so I was like, okay, that's generally, but I was really nervous that I didn't cut it wide enough. So I did spend the time to work across the pattern, and I got all the way across. Now, this color is, look, Jen and I see, I already put them to use. 3799 DMC. There's a couple stitches that go past here. So I'll still have about a 2-inch margin. Dropped floss. If I drop flosses, the problem is that the little tiny dog grabs them and eats them. And little tiny dog at some point is going to eat something he shouldn't, and it's going to be a huge vet bill. And so we've been really trying to work with him. My little girl, Maisie, we found her dog bed. I had washed the dog bed and somehow it had fallen behind the dryer, but she doesn't always, like, it wasn't a big deal. I was like, oh. And finally dawned on me, I'm like, where's the dog bed? Because I figured Nigel would like it. Well, Maisie won't let Nigel use it. And she dragged it from the hallway into the kitchen here. And then she dragged it from right next to me to right in front of her dog dish. And she lays her little chunky butt in her bed, and then she leans over into the bowl and eats out of the bowl while laying in the dog bed. So then I filmed her, and I put it's on Instagram. I filmed her, and Bella started laughing, and she realized I was filming her, and she got up, turned her little butt around, and faced away from us. For a 20-pound dog, that dog's got more personality than most people do. It's crazy. But she's fun. So that is 4 days worth of stitching, but that is as wide as it is. So it's about 3-ish feet wide. And I believe it is the same distance down. But there's a picture of my daughter holding this. And she's 5'5", and it basically is as long as she is tall. The fabric. what I'm going to try and do now is work down the side so that I can at least trim some of it off. So we'll see. Okay, so, but that wasn't all the stitching and crafting I did. I also did a lot of cutting out of fabric. I'm missing a piece of fabric, hence why my freezer is now almost cleared off of, except for the printer. I almost have the table situated where I'm going to be able to put the printer on the end of the table and stuff, which is very exciting. Very exciting, because then my kids won't have to worry about dumping the printer off while they go in there looking for pizza rolls or chicken tenders, because, you know. And if anybody knows where I can buy those in bigger bulk than I can at Sam's Club, let me know. Like, I feel like I should go buy like the restaurant size as much as we go. More chicken fingers, like chicken tenders, than pizza rolls. But still. And the DiGiorno now makes a 4-cheese gluten-free pizza. It's pretty good. The problem is that there's a lot of onions and garlic in the sauce, and that just still bothers my stomach. But the crust, okay, why can they make a fluffy, essentially white bread crust that would be fantastic? Like white bread should be, like sandwich bread that you buy in the store is. How come they can make that for pizza crust, but they can't make that for sandwich bread for us that have to be gluten-free? Because that really and truly is the one thing I miss. I can get fantastic gluten-free baked goods. That's not a problem. And if worse comes to worse, you eat French macaroons because they are made with almond flour, so they're gluten-free naturally. But you can't buy good gluten-free bread. It all tastes like sand. And it's tiny. And the only way to make it good, if you toast it, there's a couple brands that are pretty good. If you toast it, but sometimes you just don't want toasted bread. So DiGiorno, if you're listening, because I know that the DiGiorno people are watching my floss tube. If you could take your crust and make it into bread dough, the gluten people in the world would be much happier. So yeah, my daughter did overcook them a little, but look, she made dinner. I didn't have to. So, okay, so the other thing that I worked on, we are now on day, I think I'm actually on day 6. I have 5 days marked off, but I think I've actually done 6 days now on nesting dolls. This was a sale last year from Lakeside Needle Crafts. This is month 2. I have all the white filled in, so she's got some flowers here that I have to finish, but I was trying to finish her belly, and then I have her little base done. So I just have to finish her belly and the back. Like, I haven't done the back stitching on either of these, and I'll go through and fill in the little rhinestones on the corners when I'm done. So I'm hoping that by the time I get to day 10 on this one, that I will have this one done and maybe even a third one. Wouldn't that be fantastic? Fantastic. Because then technically, if I started the sale this year with as much as I had done in January, I really could count it that way. Like Modern Folk Embroidery, my Modern Folk Embroidery that was called last month, I would have January, February, and March done for each of those sales, and then technically I'm back up to date because we'll just call them sales for 2021. I did get new ink. I'm going to see, I know that pattern, somebody said that Pattern Keeper doesn't like the back stitching. So if you have a pattern that has back stitching, it won't load, the back stitching doesn't load into Pattern Keeper. Somebody could validate that. I'd appreciate that, because my big BAPs don't have back stitching. Because, you know, they're full coverage, and, you know, if you're already doing 500,000 stitches, why do you need to add back stitching to it? I don't mind back stitching. I love the detail that it adds, but at the same time, I don't really care to do it if I don't have to. That's kind of how I feel about it. Okay, so, but I was just thinking it would be, what's nice about having Pattern Keepers, I only have to keep track of the little tablet. I'm not killing all the trees printing off stuff. I don't have to worry about whether or not I have ink or anything in it, in my printer. So it kind of makes it nice. So, I am really starting to enjoy working on Pattern Keeper. it was a little bit of a shift. The one thing I will say, had I bought a bigger tablet, I think I would like it even more. But you can zoom in and zoom out, and it's kind of cool. And it shows, like, you can set up, like mine right now, it shows me where the page breaks are and things like that. So it is very cool. I'm really liking it. So the other thing that I worked on, just a little bit since you last saw it, is the Self-Love Sampler by Birdie's Crossing on Etsy. There are several of us working on it. I have now got, that's the page break. Actually, this part of the crown is on the second page. So I actually am getting pretty close to having a page finish on this one. I have, well, now my thing is out of order. Let's see. I have one big motif, and then I have like one big motif, and then some little, they look like little bangle drop downs. And I'm not sure, my problem is I'm not sure what color I'm going to do my bangle drop downs in. I don't know if I should do them in the brown, maybe a different shade of brown, or if I should stick with the blues and greens. Now there's another row of crowns on the bottom, and those will be done in the brown as well. Okay, so I am up here. I have to do this motif and then these. So I'm thinking maybe they should be brown, but maybe a different shade of brown. Like sand. I don't know. I feel like they should be sparkly, but I don't know. Anyways, okay, so the other thing that I did was I realized that I have suddenly misplaced a piece of fabric that I need to work on a quilt top that needs to go out by the end of the month. So I may have to substitute a different fabric. I mean, I guess I could go to Joann's and see and buy, but whatever. But I cut a lot of the fabric for project bags so that they're ready to go. And I just need to like switch around my desk so that I can sew. So that's really and truly, I've been working on homework, the never-ending saga of the homework, and meetings this week is going to be, fingers crossed, y'all. I have a hearing in the morning, and I've never had a judge who's had to have a hearing on this type of motion. And this is a newer judge, and she's requiring us to appear in person on this motion. And I don't know if I'm going to be standing there getting my ass reamed or what. Like, I don't understand. Like, I don't know. I have a bunch of stuff I have to submit to court for different hearings and motions. So that will be, and then I have this huge chunk of my final project. He's like broken it down into chunks. We have class tonight, and then it's due at midnight, this section, but he didn't go over it because we had a test last week. So I'm hoping tonight he'll bump it at least a couple of days and go over it tonight because I'm a little lost. And not only am I lost, but Bina's lost on it too. So yeah, that was kind of, so we'll see. So this next week, like I said, I am going to keep working on those three. I'm going to keep working. I went to, okay, so I tried on my swimsuit finally, and it wasn't quite comfortable, and it's never been the best fitting swimsuit. It was one of those, like, I needed a swimsuit right away because my old one was falling off. It was so big. So I grabbed the only one that really kind of fit at Walmart 4 years ago. But it's never been like that. It never fit great. Well, it just wasn't fitting. It still wasn't fitting well. And I was like, you know what? This is not right. I'm getting ready to train to bring back my swim and to go swim 5K in a lake in August. So I went on Amazon, and the one swimsuit I was like, oh, this will be perfect. Like the way it's designed, like this will totally work. It's inexpensive, so I won't feel bad when it gets too big and I have to buy the next size down or whatever, right? And so I go to their measurement chart, and if I go by my bust size, based on their chart, I would need a 9X. Y'all, when I was 100 pounds heavier, I never wore a 9X. In my life, I have never worn a 9X. I burst into tears because seriously. And the other problem is that then my bottoms, it would have like fallen off my butt. It would never have worked. But I was like so depressed. And finally my friend John was like, babe, sizing is ridiculous. Either order the size you normally would wear and maybe one bigger and one smaller kind of thing, and just return the ones that don't work. Or better yet, swimsuits are starting to come out. Go to Walmart, go to Target, and see what they actually have. So I went to our Walmart, and I don't know when this trend started, but there was not a single one-piece bathing suit. And the lady did say, look, we're just starting to get our swimwear. And I was like, okay. But there was not a single one-piece swimsuit available. Now later I found one that was, I thought it was a leotard, to be honest with you, because it had short sleeves, but it had like the regular bathing suit bottoms, like all one piece with a zipper. I thought it was a leotard. Apparently it was a swimsuit. It was too short in the shoulders. Like I'm like, I don't have broad shoulders, I don't think. So that was a no-go. But y'all, when did like I I'm I wish I had the confidence in the body shape that I could be comfortable wearing a two-piece bikini, but I'm not. I am a 50-year-old athlete training, not lounging on the sand. I need a swimsuit that's going to like go. I don't want to wear a dress in the water when I'm training. Like, so I finally found one, a two-piece, which was actually worked out better because now my bottoms fit properly and my top fits really nicely. It does have a little bit of a skirt under the like little dress, but it's not bad. It's actually really, really cute. So I got a new swimsuit, so now I just have to haul my butt over to the gym. That will not be today because yeah, tons to enter into the computer. And I've got to get my son to do the dishes because I finally buckled down and did them last time, did them all, and that's, yeah. Slowly making progress on things around here and getting things organized and cleared out, which is really, really exciting to have a little bit moving forward. So, yeah, that's it. So, with that, I'm going to say goodbye. As always, if you need something, please reach out. I'm His Princess Kelly on Instagram, also on TikTok. I don't really use TikTok a whole lot. Like, I watch the videos of the cute doggies. But, we are now on book 50. I'm almost done with book 56. My goal is 150 for the year. Yeah, we're on finish number 9. We've got 9 finishes out of 12, which is the goal for the year. We're back on track. 100 ounces of water, so 2 of these a day. Oh, the nutritionist goes, well, where to conquer and deal with your caffeine addiction? And I was like, she goes, yeah, not right away, but we kind of need to like address it so that you're ready to go for Ironman. Okay. So yeah. I don't know what else to tell you guys. Really and truly, I'm not that exciting. So again, I'm gonna let you guys go. Keep working away. Go do something fun. Take care of yourself. You know, self-care isn't always about bubble baths and that. Sometimes self-care is finishing a goal or trying, like, starting to tackle something you wanted to do all your life and haven't. It's funny, I had this conversation with Bean yesterday after breakfast. We were getting in the car, and it was myself and Bean and my friend Kat, and we were talking, you know, this summer, class-wise, I only have 2 classes, and that's pretty low for me since going back. But if it works out, I will finally take and ideally pass my personal trainer certificate this summer, and doing a couple other things. And she's like, Kat's known me for a while. She's known me since the kids were little, and even being pointed out, she's like, you know, you learning ASL and doing this certificate and the personal trainer things, while, you know, the challenge is to lighten my load, there's a difference between taking on, here's my little pep talk and my life coaching for you guys. There's a difference between taking on tasks or projects that you feel like you have to, because that comes with a certain amount of stress, and not always in the good stress way, versus a project that you want to because it feeds your soul. While that adds stress, it's a different type of stress on you. And that those projects are the ones that it's like, okay, that's cool to take on. It feeds my soul. It makes me happy to, like, look at my board of, I do a vision board every year, and I have pictures of things that I want to achieve, and like my bucket list races are on there, and Ironman is on there, and there's certain things, and each year I try to take off a couple, you know, at least one, so that I'm constantly, and I like, we're now into Lent, and I was raised very strict Roman Catholic. My aunt is a nun. So Lent was always, you have to give up something. And I hate that, because it's like, as a kid, like, it made no sense to me. So I used Lent, once I got old enough to really have a more of a say in things. I used those 40 days to focus on learning something new, making something better. So is it tackling a project, like maybe it's tackling decluttering your bathroom for those 40 days, and I really focus in on whatever that is that I pick. A couple years ago, we tackled learning to make sushi rolls, my son and I, and now I can roll my own sushi, which is absolutely fun. Checked out a YouTube video. We spent 2 days. We have the little bamboo mat. We can totally do it. You know, so I've done things like that. And so, you know, we were talking in about that, and she's like, it's really neat. And even my daughter was like, it's really neat to watch you, meaning me, pull in and achieving some of the goals that I've talked about for years. And how much, you know, how cool that is that, you know, we're doing that. So, and she's like, and my daughter was like, yeah, it's really cool to watch you and know that, you know, it's never too late. You know, like, most people would go, okay, I'm 50, I can't, like, why would I learn, like, why would I get another degree? Like, that is totally unrelated to what I'm currently doing. I kind of think they are related, but most people wouldn't see the connection. And that I'm, you know, like, for me, I want to do it, and I want to wear honors cords. And, you know, like, I get excited. I asked my son the other day, I'm like, are you going to pay me for all the A's I get? And he goes, I don't have a job. You know? But it was more of the, you know, and I go, well, look, I'll pay you. And he's like, well, you have a job. And I go, but it's the point, like, it's important. You know, I hung the letter from the school on my fridge that I was on honor roll last semester to remind me, like, hey, I can do stuff. Like, it's still really cool. I'm giving this 10-minute talk, 10-ish minute talk, to new students at the university or college about the importance of peer mentoring and getting involved, even though, you know, we are a community college and things like that. And, you know, and that it isn't too late. Like, to, you know, take the fun class, like check, you know, I don't know where everybody lives, obviously. And I don't know if, like, we have a great community college system here in Michigan, and we're very blessed in that respect. So it's not a big, it's, for many of us, it is economically feasible that we can take a fun class. You can go take Introduction to Ceramics, or, you know, an ASL intro class, or whatever it is. I just found out there's an Introduction to Welding class offered because they have a lot of tech programs. And I was like, how cool would that be one semester to just take Intro to Welding? It's a 3-credit class. Like, apparently though, because I have implants, I have to make sure that I'm okay to take that medically, which totally makes sense, and I'm not faulting anybody for that. But I even said to the kids, I'm like, that's an amazing skill to have under your belt. Like, hey, I can weld. I took a class. I know how to do it. There's one on auto body repair and doing things like that. Do I expect that they're going to do that for the rest of their lives? No. Could they? Sure. And that would be great. But it's another skill, and it's just one of those things, like, and maybe they will fall in love with it, and maybe that is what they end up doing. I can't see either one of them doing that, but, you know, things, you know, never stop surprising me. So, all that to say, you know, when we add stresses, while I'm trying to lighten my load in some respect, and maybe that's passing off doing the dishes every day to my kids or whatnot, the things that I'm taking on, like new projects kind of things, I'm trying to make sure that they are things that feed my soul. That at this stage of my life aren't things that, they're things I want in my life. They're skills I want to bring. There's a reason and a purpose. And, you know, we joked, I'm like, look, if I'm going to retire from law in the next 10 years or so and live out my days living on the beach drinking drinks out of coconuts, I won't be living in Michigan. The problem with my law degree, like with me in the bar, is most of the warm states like Florida, Arizona, don't have reciprocality. So for me to practice law down there, it would either have to be in the federal courts, because I am licensed and bar admitted into the federal courts, or, which means immigration, bankruptcy. I'm not licensed right now to do patent law. I don't do federal crimes. So I would be very limited. However, if I pass the national test for ASL interpreting, or the national test for personal trainer, those are skills that I can take to any state and open a business and work and be able to support myself and that. And my dogs. And my dogs need to live in the comfort in which they have grown accustomed to, like eating their food while laying in their bed, because she's a spoiled princess. So there is a like, not only am I thinking, okay, these are things that feed my soul right now, this is how, like, it's the growing. So all that to say, do stuff that feeds your soul. When you're evaluating new projects and new things that you're wanting to take on, try to take on the projects that feed your soul. So, okay, so that was a soapbox that was not intended and lasted totally longer than I thought it would. And I hope you all are patient and having fun. So, I'm going to finish my protein powdered induced coffee, which is still yummy. Then I'm going to get going and hopefully submit several cases and motions, and we'll be ready to go. So I will talk to you guys all next week. Hopefully I will have a lot more stitching and a lot more news, and all will be well, and we will go from there. With that said, I love you guys. I send you much love and support. And yeah, give yourself grace and feed your soul. Bye, guys.